and roll. This spot by to break your soul right open wide. It's such a ride. Take away my body. Take away my body. Give me back my R&B. Give me back my operator, operator. We've been dying on the dance floor. We've been dying on the dance floor. Sooner or later, you'll be getting what you came for. You'll be getting what you came for. Operator, operator, there's an iron in the air about time. It's a kiss out of heaven, just a piece to remain when you I'm an agent by trade. I'm a vandal at heart. I find the weakest piece and pull it all apart. I've been on every side. You know they're all the same. You recognize my face, but you don't know my name. Sabotage. You wanna get into the entourage. You gotta use a little camouflage. If you wanna break into the scene, oh yeah, sabotage. You take a hammer to the fuselage. You wish them all a little bon voyage. And you never say a thing, oh yeah, sabotage. And when they're firing up a grand barrage, you disappear into a thin mirage. I'm right in front of your eyes. I'm living under your nose. But you don't know I'm there until the bomber blows. I wear a hat and a coat. I wear a suit and a tie. I'm looking just like you, and you pass me right by. Sabotage. You wanna get into the entourage. You gotta use a little camouflage. If you wanna break into the scene, oh yeah, sabotage. You take a hammer to the fuselage. You wish them all a little bon voyage. And you never say a thing, oh yeah, sabotage. And when they're firing up a grand barrage, you disappear into a thin mirage. Sabotage. You wanna get into the entourage. You gotta use a little camouflage. If you wanna break into the scene, oh yeah, sabotage. You take a hammer to the fuselage. You wish them all a little bon voyage. And you never say a thing, oh yeah, sabotage. And when they're firing up a grand barrage, you disappear into a thin mirage. Oh, don't you hold me down. I don't wanna stay. Your walls won't contain me. I always get away. You think you know it all, but you don't know yourself. You've got it all together until it goes to hell. Sabotage. You wanna get into the entourage. You gotta use a little camouflage.
I should probably ask Bowman if he's okay with people using his music as stream intros, huh?
You take a hammer to the fuselage.
That's probably a good idea. I should probably consider that.
And you never say a
It's so good, though, is the problem.
sabotage. And when they're firing up a grand barrage,
Okay, the song's ending.
you're into a thin mirage, yeah,
Oh wait, there's one more chorus. Never mind. It's not ending yet.
yeah, sabotage.
Sorry, I forgot to do the normal thing that I do at the intro. Hello? Hello? That's what I normally do. I have been a fan I have been a fan of Michael Guy Bowman for a very long time. I think that I've been a fan of Michael Guy Bowman for like longer than half of my life at this point. Because he did music for Homestuck. Um, yeah, I have been calling Bowman my husband for the past decade. Like, the joke was that I followed him on Twitter and he followed me back, so we're basically married. Um, the problem is that he's actually married now, and we don't have like a close personal relationship. We're acquaintances. So I feel weird saying it now that he's actually married, even as a joke. Uh, um, yeah, let me see. When did Mobius Trip come out? 2011? Um, Let me see real quick. I'm just going to look at his list of albums. So, yeah, Mobius Trip was May 2011, so I would have been... And like, I was a fan of his music before that came out, but just trying to give myself a point of reference here. 2011, I would have been... How fucking old am I now? 30? 29. I'm 29. I'm not 30 yet. And it's 2024, so 2014 I would have been 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. Yeah, basically over half of my life at this point, because I probably would have first heard his music in 2009, 2010. So, yeah. Can you tell how bad I am at math? At funny maths? Anyway, yeah, Michael Guy Bowman is really good. He's got a lot of albums out at this point. He is slowly spelling his name by making the albums. Here, I'll just, if I'm looking at this, I might as well just do that. So yeah, he's slowly spelling his name with album titles. So you've got Mobius Trip and Hadron Collider, Ithaca, Comfortable Bugs, Hush, Archive, Electric Daydreams, Look at My Work, See Mighty, and Despair. So that's Michael, and then now he's on to You as of not last year, the year before last now, I guess. He has been spelling his name. So I will say, Bowman is fun. I love Bowman so much. Like, his music is fucking fantastic. I will say that Mobius Trip is a little it's not the best music he's ever made. I really like it. I really, really love this album, but like, you can definitely tell the difference between in like production quality and lyrics and everything between 2011 and 2022. It's very visible. That being said, I adore this album and it's worth a listen, but if you haven't read Homestuck, there's a lot of references and stuff in there you're probably not going to get. It was the first album he did. Yeah, he did like individual songs before that, mostly instrumental. But yeah, anyway, I shouldn't make this Bowman chat. I just really like his music, and I've been listening to him a lot more lately. I kind of slowed down on listening to music in general for a while. But I've been listening to him specifically a lot more lately, so yeah. I should probably ask him whether he's okay with people using his music on streams, though. Like, shoot him a Twitter DM or something. I think he's still mutuals with me on Twitter. Anyway. Hello. It's the long haul. What's my intro? Someone type exclamation shiv. I forget my intro. Friends? Uh, thank you. I'm a fucking mess. My tummy hurts a lot. Friends, enemies, past romantic partners, and future nemesis. It's the long haul. It's a celebration of simulation. Friends, Romans, countrymen. Welcome to the long haul. It's a celebration of simulation. I'm Shiv Rose. I'm doing a great job. I'm doing a fantastic job. I just want to listen to Bowman music. Can we just sit back and listen to Bowman for the rest of the night instead? I'll put on Gravity Makes the Flame Rise. This album's really good. Oh my god, that's loud. It's very loud on my end. Probably isn't on yours. Anyway. Okay, for real now. Off the ball and off the wall. Yeah, we're playing this game again because, again, my tummy hurts and American Truck Simulator isn't really working for me. Like, for some reason I keep having these weird graphical glitches, so like I can't really play American Truck Simulator, and that's what I've been kind of craving, and I don't have the energy to try to fix it right now, you know? So we're doing more of a Power Wash. She would still like to be able to talk to him afterwards. Yeah. Commissioner Baryonyx, Buckingham Subway Station. Owing to the steady reputational rise of Buckingham, Caldera City Transportation Network is excited to announce the reopening of its subway links to the vibrant town. We'd like you to deep clean the platform area ahead of the grand unveiling. Please note that whilst much of the graffiti in the facility could be said to possess artistic merit, we would like you to remove it all. Oh, that's sad. Oh, I got a big coffee also. Which is probably not helping my tummy, but it's helping me feel more awake. I want to get a look at the... Perhaps you would like some interesting statistics on our railroad systems whilst you work. Local legend, keep winning. I just want to see what the graffiti says. Oh, gnome graffiti. We'll clean up Caldera City and beyond, but it says dirty. And we don't like Jeff Jefferson. Apparently. Already cleaner than a Subway restaurant. You're so right. I think they should put a train hazard in this level, like Team Fortress 2. 1984 will be the year we go off-road with Driving Me Nuts. I guess this is like a Herbie joke. Herbie the Love Bug. Oh, the fun fair. But it's the pun fair. 0 out of 10, don't bother. Interesting. Catman Jefferson, vote Jeff dirty, always. Lies. Oh, it only had some letters crossed out. That's true. Sorry, this one over here. I think it... I can't tell. Like, it doesn't see... It seems like it's all crossed out. I'm not sure. I'll F Caldera City dirty. Oh, there is a line there. Okay. Okay, I see what you're getting at. Huh. Yeah. I see it now. And this one's just a mean car. Funny monkey. I think that's everything. Meow, 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 meow. Oh, maybe it's I'll do Caldera City dirty? That's an actual sentence that would make sense, but like it is circling VO. Maybe there was a D there that got erased while I was spraying it. I don't know. I'm gonna start actually cleaning. And hey, this is relevant to the long haul more than normal. Because trains. I love this like shadow of the signal light that left. It's really funny. Trains. Honestly, I love trains. I haven't fallen out of love with trains or anything. Have not really been in the mood for train simulators lately. Which is why we haven't really touched any of those. I feel like they often, for me, take just the wrong amount of attention for streaming. I don't know if that makes sense. Gotta get to bed. Have a good night. Have a good night, Devnal. Nice to see you, as always. Enjoy your journey listening to Bowman for the first time. Hopefully you enjoy. Probably pop on the discography in order tomorrow while I'm working. Hell yeah. I will say, if you're still listening even, I will say, like I said, Mobius Trip is like, did not mean to press that. It is a Homestuck album, so it's very referencey and kind of weird if you don't know anything about Homestuck. However, still pretty good music in my opinion. But Ithaca, I think, is a very just solid all-around album. I think Comfortable Bugs is where he really hit his stride, his third album. So I hope you enjoy. Anyway, sorry for talking your ear off. Have a good night. I've had relatively quiet streams the last couple of streams. Still brushing the old teeth. I see, I see. A little bit of the funny brushies. There we go. So, I keep forgetting to ask how people are doing also. How you doing, Cora? And anyone else who's around, if you're lurking and want to chat. How you doing tonight? Hmm. Contemplative. Okay, if you have a big old tummy ache, do I think eating a big old hunk of Italian bread would make it better or worse? Um, it depends. How is this like a sourdough? Like what kind of bread is this? Is this like a garlic bread? Because I probably wouldn't eat garlic bread because garlic butter is not going to be good for your tummy. For me personally, at least, my tummy gets a little upset when I have too much dairy. Just plain Italian bread from the store. Okay. If it's not like a sourdough, I think it would be fine. I don't know if it would be good or bad for your tummy necessarily. But as long as the issue isn't that you can't get any more food in your tummy, it probably wouldn't hurt. I don't know. It's a difficult question. You urinate, you're hungry, you don't have a ton of options. That makes sense. If you're also hungry, I think it'll probably help. It's another quiet one tonight. I don't necessarily mind a quiet stream, just... I don't know. I feel like most long hauls end up being really, really active. But the last couple have been just kind of low-key, which isn't bad. Just kind of chill time. Probably should have been using an extension this whole time. Hey. Beautiful. Trying to think of what's been going on in my life in the last week. I've mostly just been hanging out, honestly. Playing a lot of Guild Wars 2. Not really accomplishing anything in Guild Wars 2, just kind of opening the game and chilling. As you might expect from a person such as myself. I don't get a lot done in video games or in real life. I finished with Doctor Who up to the current stuff, I guess. So, like, I guess I finished up to Jodie Whittaker as of today. I am officially done with Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, which I hate to say it, because, like, last time I brought this up, last time I brought up that I was watching Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, I said basically the same thing. But, like, I'm kind of relieved that I'm done with it, not because I don't like Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, but because I think that the writing for Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor is so weak. Like, that whole cast is doing such an incredible job for people who have, as far as I can tell, been handed nothing scripts. Just scripts that are just fucking nothing. Like, I don't know how these actors fucking dealt with that. Welcome back with bread. I'm talking about Doctor Who. Like, but yeah, like I don't dislike Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor. I think she did a really great job. But the the shit that she got, uh, doing a really great job with the bad scripts that she got still makes for mostly mediocre television. Whereas, like, you know, Capaldi didn't always get great scripts. And I think, honestly, Capaldi might be my favorite. Straight up. But, like, Capaldi didn't get great scripts, but, like, or always get great scripts, but he got enough good scripts that I could see kind of like a version of that character that was as consistent as the writing wants him to be, I guess. Um Whereas, like, the way that Jodie Whittaker's Doctor ends up being written is, like, both really inconsistent, but also the things that are consistent are, like, the Doctor is always correct about everything all the time. And I think that kind of sucks. I think it's bad for the pacing. I didn't actually read the disclaimer. I meant to do that after I cleaned it. This political advert is sponsored by the Jeff Jefferson 12th 1984 Election Campaign Fund. Jeff Jefferson the 12th would like to make it clear that he is talking metaphorically about cleaning up the city, and he has no intention of getting on his expensively tailored knees and scrubbing the city, or any kind of manual labor for that matter. Fair enough. But yeah, like, here's the thing. I think that 12 has like Peter Capaldi has both my favorite episode of Doctor Who that I've seen ever, in Heaven Sent. And the problem with Heaven Sent is that it doesn't really stick the landing once you get to the second part of that two-parter. Like, Hellbent is just not that good. Especially compared to how much I fucking love Heaven Sent. But also, like, I think it works pretty well as a standalone episode for the most part. That is, as they say, a hell of a bird. And he also has my favorite death, like, of any Doctor. The speech that he gives as he's dying is, like, God, it makes me cry. And it ends up kind of feeling like tonal whiplash after that amazing speech to watch the first episode of Jodie Whittaker's run, which is very goofy silly and has a guy with teeth glued to his face. It's a shame because I really like. I knew that people didn't like the Whittaker years like just as much, if not more, than people don't like the Capaldi year or the Stephen Moffat years. I guess. Like, I guess I'm talking more about Chris Chibnall than Jodie Whittaker in this case. But like, I knew that people kind of had an equal dislike for Chris Chibnall's run as showrunner, as they did for Stephen Moffat's run as showrunner. But like, I went in relatively optimistic because I thought that Jodie Whittaker was doing a good job, and it got better the further you went on, but it was still just some of the most dog shit television I've ever seen. Fucking Kerblam remains one of the worst things that I've ever seen in a TV show. The episode where it turns out that Amazon is good, actually, and the problem is that people who are complaining about humans no longer being involved in parts of the workforce and being downsized into oblivion are the people who are the problem. being downsized into oblivion without being given any form of compensation to make up for the fact that they can no longer make money working because no one's hiring them, I guess. What is left on this wall? What am I missing? Tiny spot there. There we go. I guess with regards to Kerblam, with regards to that episode of Doctor Who, what I really want to know is whether Chris Chibnall really thinks that Amazon is good, actually, and that the issue with Amazon is that the employees are bad. I want to know if Chris Chibnall genuinely thinks that, or if he thought he was making a good point there. Or if he just straight up didn't think about the implications of the point that the episode was making. That's what I want to know. I want to know which of those things is the case. Anyway, I guess that's kind of all I have to say about Doctor Who this week. I'm rapidly getting to the point where I'm going to just straight up be caught up with the show, so I'm not going to have any more to watch. Because the current season has already ended, and I haven't gotten to it yet, but it's only 8 episodes long, so I'm going to slam through that pretty quick, probably. But first I have to get through the 4 extra episodes of David Tennant. Why did David Tennant come back? It's so bizarre. Don't get me wrong, I love David Tennant. I love David Tennant as the Doctor and also just as an actor. And as a person, he seems pretty good too. Not going to say for sure that he's a great person, but like, everything I've seen of him in his personal life, pretty cool. It's okay. Sorry, I have too much to say about Doctor Who. This is my problem. Mostly a thing you watch with your ex. Ah. Hey, Cora, do you want to watch all of the rebooted Doctor Who with me? I'll watch it a second time. I'll tell you which episodes are dog shit before you watch them. Yeah, I figured you didn't. That was the joke I was making, kinda. Sorry. You feel obligated to respond. Yeah. My problem is that I have very little to talk about right now because all I've been doing lately is playing, like, aimlessly running around in Guild Wars 2, not actually accomplishing anything, and watching Doctor Who. I've watched a lot of Drawfee recently. Drawfee's good. We love Drawfee. Drawfee is a lot like a famous Cable 2 show, Happy Lab Accidents. Drawfee stole the formula from Happy Lab Accidents, obviously. I wish video games were good. Yeah, me too. I think it would be cool if they made a video game that was good. Conversation earlier about how gamers are that evolved into a how gamers are. There we go. I couldn't put that sentence together. Evolved into a conversation about frustrating game design choices. I see. Yeah. Game design is frequently frustrating. Perhaps the worst thing about games is the way they're designed. Still sad about Overwatch a little bit. Me too, honestly. I was thinking about Overwatch recently and how, like, when it came out, I had a genuinely good time with it. And then the game started to have a meta, and then they took out the ability to have more than one person playing the same character in a match. And it just, like, steadily got worse and worse because they wanted it to be good for the competitive players rather than, like, the casual players like me who were, you know, willing to spend $30 to buy 1,000 loot crates because something gambling addiction something. You threw out a whale because you made the game too much for competitive players, Blizzard. Are you proud? Are you happy? Honestly, I probably wouldn't have wailed on Overwatch for that long. They made the skill ceiling so low that the game got boring 300 hours in if you didn't play competitive. I don't think I got even to 300 hours, honestly. I think I was more like 1 to 200 before I just got tired of it. Honestly, one issue is that at the time, a lot of the people I was playing games with were just people who wanted to play games competitively and smartly. Like, a lot of the people I was playing with, not everyone, but like a lot of the people I was playing with just want to win. So they play every game like it's a competitive game instead of having a good time with it, which just ends up making it stressful to play for me instead of fun. Playing to win can be fun, but one other thing I noticed pretty quick about Overwatch. Simple works that work very specific ways. Team that wins isn't the one with the better players, it's the one who coordinates better. Yeah. I would agree with that. Try to get under that track a little bit. Hi there, I would ask if you would clean my caravan, but I already know what your answer is. Okay. Okay, the uncanny Franny. Caldera's subway system was built using over 16 million bricks. Huh. It's a lot of bricks. If you were to pile them up top to tail end, they would extend a staggering 2,137 miles to the Earth's atmosphere. Dang. Games past like gold rank were all decided by teamwork. Oh. It's only a tantalizing 236,718 miles short of the moon's surface. Very cool. That is tantalizing, I agree. We are shouting at each other angrily all the time. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what eventually happens to any game with competitive elements, even if it's not designed to be a capital C competitive game, I feel like. And maybe that's just me being cynical. Like, I don't really play multiplayer games anymore, honestly, like competitive multiplayer games, because I'm tired of that being the attitude. I got so tired of it that I started getting, like, fucking anxiety episodes anytime I tried to play a PvP kind of game. Like, I used to be the first person shooter bastard. I was really good at first person shooters, and I played a lot of them, and I really loved them. And then at some point, just the culture shifted. From being like, hey, let's fuck around and have a good time, to the only thing that matters is winning, and I will scream at you if you're not doing the thing that is optimal to win, even if it's not your fault necessarily. And at that point, I started to give up on those kinds of games. And again, that's probably me being cynical more than, like, a reflection on games culture as a whole. I'm sure I could find people it would be fun to play with. Messing around and playing the game was fun. Overwatch, or if you're losing the match, you aren't learning anything beyond, well, our tank was bad or our mercy player is a rager. Competitive games have a habit of bringing out the worst in people. Yeah, and I think that's kind of always been true. Like, I definitely am not going to say, like, oh, back when I was a kid, competitive games were more fun because people weren't so mad about them all the time. I think that might be true to a point, but I don't think that's, like, true, you know? Like, I think that is at least partially nostalgia talking, and I try to be aware of that sort of thing. But, you know, I played like 1,000 hours of Dota 2. I really liked Dota 2, even though that was, like, the quintessential people get mad at you for playing badly game. That in League of Legends. But I really liked Dota. Like, I don't know. I think that video games are fun. And I want to have fun when I play the video games, which is why I can't really play competitive games anymore. Because I'm not good at them. And I'm not, like, that interested in becoming super, super good at them. And in an environment where every game is now being balanced around professional players that probably don't exist, what is there left for me, you know? What is there left for someone like me who just wants to play a shooter and have a good time? It's not like they make Quake games anymore. You know, I could reinstall Quake 3 Arena and find some servers, but, like, I don't know. I was learning things, getting schooled on, whatever the silly map I was on called CDF Airport or something. Yeah. Honestly, for the most part, I really like, if I'm going back to play TF2, I mostly have a pretty good time if I'm on the Uncletopia servers. My problem with the Uncletopia servers is that they don't really do custom maps unless they're like competitive gamer approved custom maps. But like people on there are willing to just kind of fuck around and have a good time for the most part. Rather than getting super sweaty about it. Dane doesn't like custom maps. Yeah, I don't think he does. He doesn't like custom maps unless they feel like official maps. Because I think there are a few custom maps in there. They're map pools, but yeah. Used to be 2 lazy pub servers, one with serious maps and one with goofy ones like Mario Kart. Haven't talked to those guys in ages. Yeah. Yeah. I do miss the silly maps. Back in the day, most of my playtime on TF2 was spent on like a single server, and it was the MS Paint Adventures forums server. Like, someone made a server for MS Paint Adventures forums, and we had a great time. And there were a bunch of custom maps, and some of them were Homestuck themed, and everyone loved it. I met a few members of the Homestuck music team there. Like there's the reason that like Plasmataz was a friend of mine, and like Jit and a couple of other Homestuck music team members are like still on my Steam friends list to this day is because we would play TF2 together on that server. In a deathmatch server too that had no objectives, just kill all people on the silly map until time expires. Yeah, I do miss that kind of game mode. Like I miss deathmatch as a game mode that is in every game. Cuz like I feel like the only mainstream games that get deathmatch modes now are just like Call of Duty and stuff. Where just the only objective is okay, go out, have a good time, kill people. And like predictable that I, the arena shooter bastard, would say this. Like, this is a very, like, boomer take of me, I guess. I kind of hate the way that the term boomer is generally used, but, like, you get what I mean. Like, it's quote-unquote boomer shooters. You know, Quake and so on. Unreal Tournament I was really into. Like, I like these things, and Team Fortress 2 was kind of the last, well, still is, I guess, kind of the last bastion of that form of game design. But, like, the community in Team Fortress 2 is now, I feel like, really set in its ways for the most part, because it's so old. Like, goddamn, that game's like 15 years old. The Reddit Brony server when MLP Season 1 was new, and then the Brony started to blow the fuck up and got really toxic. Yeah. Maybe what's happening to me in Team Fortress 2 is that I'm only joining, whenever I jump into Team Fortress 2, I only end up joining the Uncletopia servers on account of like my I like to know that the servers that I'm joining are going to ban weird transphobes and weird Nazis when they crop up, and Uncletopia is very good about that. Like, I care about that more than the, like, quote-unquote vanilla feel or whatever it is that they're going for there. Always nice when there's good moderations. Those guys are definitely set in their ways. That's fair. You would think, as someone who started playing Team Fortress 2 in 2007, like a couple of months after it came out, I would be the type that would fit in with that community. At least I would think that. You seem too cool to be set in your ways. Thank you. I try to be a mutable person. I'm a dabbler. I haven't been playing constantly for 17 years, which I think is what a lot of those guys have done. That's true. I played constantly for like 3 or 4 years, and then I sort of stopped at some point. Stopped playing constantly, I should say. Like, I played constantly from like 2007 to 2011, and then from like late 2012 until like 2014 I played constantly. And other than that, like, it's mostly just been big gaps between me having little bursts of playing for a week or two at a time. A lot of his other people who were playing in the olden times just decided the game was ruined forever and quit. Yeah. Man, I remember how controversial adding Air Blast to Pyro was. Like, I still can't believe that they obsoleted all of my favorite weapon combos also. Like, they made the Extinguisher bad, and the Extinguisher was like the staple of how I played Pyro, which was my main class at the time. It was like the thing that I had the most fun doing was fucking like backburn, air blast, Extinguisher. Combo Pyro being nerfed is very sad. Yeah. I don't know, like it felt like it was genuinely like a more skillful form of play than the quote unquote WM1 Pyro. Like, I don't think WM Pyro was ever like a real phenomenon that like mattered. The like, people who play Pyro just walk forward and hold down mouse 1. Like, I don't think that was like a real issue. I guess, but like, I don't know, to me that's like the less fun version of Pyro kind of feels like that to me. And so I don't really play Pyro anymore. When I play TF2, I just end up playing Scout. Isn't like that you could get in a state where after the Pyro air blasted you, you were dead guaranteed unless they made a mistake. Yeah. Give people more counterplay. Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. There we go. Also, Kathy, how are you doing? I didn't actually ask that when I saw you join in the chat. How are you doing today? I was used to the era where you walked into melee range of the combo pyro, just meant you were dead. Oops, shouldn't have done that. Like, you shouldn't walk into a sniper sight line or a sticky trap or an engineer sentry. Maybe if I wasn't used to it, I wouldn't feel that way. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Doing good, how are you? I'm good. I'm pretty good. I had a stomach ache when I started this stream, and I'm feeling a lot better now. I finished the Jodie Whittaker years of Doctor Who today. So I'm officially done with that. Which is pretty cool, I think. You ate that bread and it cured my tummy ache. Good job, thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, no, I mean, I've had a pretty solid day, I would say. Just a little bit achy. Glad you survived the tummy ache. Yeah, I am truly a tummy ache survivor. You know, I do like the look of like an old school subway platform. I love the flippy signs. I'm always a big fan of the flippy signs. These guys, where the letters and numbers like flip down. Always a big fan of those. Um, and the analog clocks are nice. Honestly, most of the subway platforms I've been on don't seem to have clocks. Like, it's possible I just missed them, but, like, a lot of them just kind of don't seem to have clocks anywhere. Really? Yeah, I mean, like, I've never lived somewhere with a subway. But, like, I've been to a few places that do, mostly Chicago and New York. And I never noticed any clocks on the platforms. I was probably just missing them, though. Seems counterintuitive. Yeah, exactly. What I'm excited for... so for a long time, Seattle kept getting, like, propositions to build subways. But the citizens, because the way that getting things like that works in Seattle, and in a lot of Washington State in general, I think for state stuff as well, you get ballot initiatives. So, like, the citizens during an election have to, like, basically sign off on doing those kinds of things. And so the city had two separate votes in the 80s to build subways, and both of them didn't go through. One of those two was being funded federally, like by the federal government, not out of the local taxpayer's pocket, but it would have meant a lot of construction, I guess, is why people said no. But then you would have had a fucking subway in the Seattle area, and it would probably have come all the way down here. But basically now what they have that they finally managed to push through is, like, trolleys almost. Like, I don't know how to describe them. They're like they're like a train but smaller and more like a streetcar kind of situation. But most of them run underground. For most parts of the tracks, they run underground or on elevated tracks. And they're building out elevated tracks into my area and have been the whole time that I've been living here. And I'm very excited for that. The station is still far enough away that I would have to drive to the station. But being able to drive to a station that's like, 10, 15 minutes away from my house and then hop on a fucking public transit thing and get to Seattle that way sounds so fucking wonderful. I think I saw a clock in the Chicago Blue Line platform. Okay. I probably just missed it then. I am not an observant plushie. Plushies don't have to be observant. God, this is a big one. Like, I'm not even halfway done with this, and we're over halfway through the time. Just doing the tracks and those walls around the tracks took forever, and I still haven't even done the ceiling. Cool. Roll low on perception checks often when I'm out and about, so I get it. Yeah. And, like, to be fair, when I was in New York and in Chicago, like, I was basically following locals around. Like, in both places, I was staying with and there to see particular locals. So, like, I didn't have to really learn how it works. I just kind of did the thing, you know? I just kind of followed them around, and they already knew their way around, so I didn't have to think about it too much. While I was in New York, I did briefly attend the Brooklyn Free School, which was a fucking experience. Y'all know about free schools? Where, like, it's like a combination middle and high school. Like, it's a junior high / high school class that's just like a bunch of students that essentially decide on the rules and the types of classes and all of that stuff by themselves by like a vote. Like, they hold like daily councils on classes and rules and whatnot. I heard about, here's the thing. So I heard about the Brooklyn Free School on This American Life. And like a lot of the concept, and this was, this was 10 plus years ago. This was well over 10 years ago, actually. I shouldn't say 10 plus because it's like probably closer to 15. But like kind of the whole thing was, like a lot of students just can't thrive in a traditional school environment, a traditional American school environment. And so they came up with these schools that are like, like the whole idea is that it's like self-governed by the students and the adults are mostly there to facilitate that. And the whole idea is that, like, yeah, if there are no rules about like attendance and stuff, then students might not attend classes. But most children and teenagers want to learn. They just want to do it on their own terms. And that's kind of the whole central idea of the free school, at least the one that I went to for a couple of weeks. Like, that's like the whole core idea is that if you give young people an opportunity to learn things on their own terms, they will learn things on their own terms. So, like, you end up giving them a couple of weeks when they first come to this school and tell them, yeah, you're allowed to do whatever you want. You don't have to come to classes or anything. And they go, oh, cool. And then they fuck around. Like all they have to do is be in the building, essentially. So they fuck around for, a couple of weeks, and then they start ending up going to classes on their own. because when it's on their terms and they can basically just leave whenever they want or whatever, they're more likely to actually care about what it is that they're learning and doing, because they're the ones that chose to go there. You're giving them autonomy. Anyway, it's like a whole thing. So I briefly attended the Brooklyn Free School while I was visiting for New York Comic Con. Basically, like, the person that I was visiting was still in high school, and I was very freshly out of high school. And their parents kind of shrugged at me and said, like, we're not going to have you hanging around our house all day while our kid isn't home. So you're going to have to figure something out. And so we talked to my friend's school, and I ended up going there for a little while. It was really interesting. I don't remember why I started talking about this, or if I had a point I was getting to. But yeah, I mean, that was an interesting experience that I've had. I remember embarrassing myself several times because I have an anxiety disorder, and they constantly expected me, as someone who was sort of sampling the school, they constantly were expecting me to join in on the governing and stuff. I was talking about subways, and then I got onto that subject because I went to that school. Crossing the Brooklyn Bridge on the subway is pretty cool. I will say that. I was staying in Manhattan. Crossing the Brooklyn Bridge on that subway is a very cool, very beautiful thing to do. Anyway, my point is, it's very hard for me to get to Seattle, and I really like Seattle, and I'd like to go there more when I'm not feeling super anxious about things. And they're building a train, it's not technically, it is a train, but it's not really a train, you know? You know what I'm getting at? But they're building a thing that is going to make that easier for me, and they have been the entire time I've been living here, but it seems a lot like it's getting closer to completion, and I will be happy when it does. That's it. That's all I really had to say. I just started talking about the Brooklyn Free School because I thought it was interesting when I went. Part of the story that I was telling there. One more thing about the Brooklyn Free School. So I was listening to like a This American Life episode because I was a really pretentious teenager, and I listened to like This American Life and shit. I was listening to NPR because like that's where you get the real news. Like that's the kind of person I was in high school. Like that they're the only people who are reporting in a way that I feel is honest and all that. So I would listen to NPR. And so they had an episode of This American Life where they talked about the Brooklyn Free School, and they went and interviewed students and stuff. And I was just casually listening to this episode of a podcast / radio show. And then I hear the voice of like a very good internet friend of mine reading a quotation out of the Brothers Karamazov. I think that's what that book is called, right? I think it's a Tolstoy book. If you know what I'm talking about, you probably know what I mean. But like just reading a quote out of the Brothers Karamazov, just this very familiar voice, and I had to stop and go like, wait a fucking second. Immediately like park my car and start messaging my friend like, hey, what the fuck? Why did I just hear you on the radio? And she explained her school to me. I don't actually know if she still goes by she, her. I'm going to go with she, her because that's what I know up to this point, and she kind of ghosted me. So that's a much sadder story, the ghosting thing. But yeah, I don't know. I think those schools are a cool experience. I have been told by some teachers and people who trained in teaching that I know that they are not the most effective method of learning. But I think that for a certain type of person, they seem to work pretty well. And I think I would have fallen into that group if given the opportunity. Based on my experience going there. Anyway, I just think trains are cool, is really what I'm getting at. Um, I guess I've kind of exhausted that subject, huh? Oh my goodness, I've been tackle hugged. How you doing, Willow? I get more water because it's hot as shit. That's so reasonable and understandable. Stay hydrated, folks. I'm gonna drink more of my coffee that I forgot was here. Okay, it's all gone now. Ooh, you were doing guild missions. That's cool. I was gonna hop in on those, and then I realized that it's long haul night, and I didn't really have time. How'd you like guild missions? How was a funny guild war? Did you talk to the guild leader much? Lambshire slash Perrin. I think that they're pretty cool. They are fun to chat with. Lamb is good people. Yeah. Construction began on the Muckingham to Caldera City branch line in 1920, funded by local businessman Wilberforce Thrust, who was keen to provide an efficient means of transporting his workforce from the city to his thriving cattle ranches. It was finally unveiled by Mayor Jeff Jefferson X, who tragically passed away from the self-same day from an incident related to the station's substandard something. I accidentally pressed a button that closed it. I don't remember the name of the person who was messaging me. Um, there it is. Incident related to the station's substandard construction. Okay. Oh God. A friend of mine today bought me like 50 some odd dollars of games on Steam. She got all excited because she said like, "Oh, Steam sales are on," and I was like, "That's cool. I don't really have money for games, so that doesn't make much of a difference to me. But that's cool. I hope you enjoy." And she was like, "Well, why don't you pick something and I'll get it for you?" And I said, I guess." So I like said a couple of things, and I said I was thinking about it, and then she was like, "Hey, you know what would be really funny?" And I said, "What?" And she said, "Wait for it." And then I got 3 notifications that I got Steam gifts. So I got all 3 of the games that I was musing over. I don't know. I have a lot of cool friends. That's really all I'm getting at. I have a lot of cool friends, very much including the people in Cable 2, and the people who watch the funny stream, and the people I chat with who aren't necessarily in here. Cable 2 is good people. I don't know a single person who's not good people in Cable 2. Both like in the community in general and also specifically like in the stream team. Just like our whole dealio, everyone here is cool. I don't know why I said dealio. A friend of yours threw you a 20 so you could get the expansion bundle for Guild Wars. You think I'd like him? I don't know if we would get along, honestly. I think each of us would be a little bit too loud for the other. Nah, I was glad to help you out. That was like I had a little bit of extra money, and that was like my like maybe I'll get myself something fun, like couple of bucks, that I have every so often if I manage to keep hold of a little bit of money. And then I saw that things were on sale and that you needed some money to do that, and I thought I could help. Because I want you to get the full experience if you can. Anyway, that sounds too much like I'm patting myself on the back. I'm not really. I'm selfish and I want my friends to have cool games that maybe we can play together at some point. I'm bad at actually following through on that, but that is the idea. God, we're still not even halfway done with this. The station is so big. Anyway, if I think if I ran into a copy of myself, um, I would whichever one of us started talking first would probably have a pleasant time, and the other one would sit there silently for a very long time, probably. That's my hot take. get 30 me bucks a month. We were planning on a couple of expansions even before the sale went on. And then a Shiva happened and boom. Yay. I'm happy to be a Shiv who happens once in a while. Honestly, like, I don't really believe in the whole, like, love languages thing. I think it's kind of pop psychology that doesn't really make a lot of sense on the whole. Um, but if I had one of those, it would probably be gift giving. Like there was a period of my life where I had a full-time job and absolutely no bills, nothing to pay, nothing that I needed to uh, do with any of the money. So I was very deeply irresponsible with it. I never saved any of it. Saving some of it probably would have saved me a lot of grief when I finally moved out of my dad's house. I say finally, like it wasn't just a year or two, but uh, shit does not stop from transpiring. So true. Um, but like all I would do most of the time is like I would buy myself games that seemed fun. I bought myself like a PS3 and 200 some odd dollar fighting game controller, but like I got like a laptop, but like once I had most of the like fun stuff that I wanted, I just kind of had all this money and nothing to really do with it. So I started just buying gifts for my friends. So like every few weeks, a bunch of my friends would just get like, yeah, hey, here's $60 of games off your Steam wish list or whatever. And that kind of became the way that I showed that I cared about people, was just like buying them things, either food or games or whatever. Um, and gosh, I wish I was still in that position, money wise. Like, that would be nice. It's very nice to be in a position where I can help my friends out and get them things that they want and kind of give them a guilt free way to get fun things when they don't necessarily have a lot of fun money to spend. Um, I think that's cool. I think it's cool to be that person who can do that for their friends. It feels good. It feels nice. Cool. Is that a separate piece? No, it is not. Here's hoping Shiv does not stop from transpiring. We'll hope. It'll probably happen someday. Thankfully, I don't have to get brain surgery to stop that from happening. That's like, it's been like 2 fucking months or whatever since that ended up being the case, that I do not have any issues with, that I do not actually have brain cancer. But that's still a relief. So, basically, what I'm saying is we can safely say that I will hopefully not, or probably not, stop transpiring anytime soon. That's all I'm really getting at. I'm kind of rambly today. Oh, there still is a lot of dirt there, I see. Got weirdly quiet for a minute there, sorry. Got very focused on my task. Um, I have started reading the Area X trilogy again. I don't know if people really know the Area X trilogy. They're making a fourth one now. So I guess it's becoming a quadrilogy. Which is a term that I actually kind of hate, but what are you gonna do, you know? Um, I don't know how to describe the Area X trilogy. It's almost cosmic horror-y. Like, it isn't exactly cosmic horror, but it's not exactly not cosmic horror. It definitely has the elements of, like, oh, there's a whole, like, existence beyond our understanding as humans that you will never quite get, and getting too deep into it will do things to your mind or whatever. But it's not like cosmic in the sense that, like, it's not about like elder gods or whatever, really. It's about this like area in, I think, the Pacific Northwest that just sort of becomes uninhabitable because some kind of force has spread out over it that just changes the things inside of it in weird and bizarre ways. The ecosystem doesn't make a lot of sense. The animals adapt rapidly in weird ways to their environments. The thing related to Area X that would probably be the most pop culture visible thing is the Natalie Portman movie Annihilation. Stars Natalie Portman, which is technically an adaptation of Annihilation, the book. Technically. To me, Annihilation, the movie, has the energy of the comments that the Black Cauldron author made about the Black Cauldron movie, like the guy who wrote the series that the Black Cauldron is based on. Where it's like the quote is roughly, I'm paraphrasing obviously, but like it's roughly like, oh yeah, no, I think that movie The Black Cauldron is great. I'd love it if they adapted my book someday. Or like, I hope they make a movie that good about my book at some point. And to me, like, I don't know how Jeff Vandermeer, the author of the Area X books, it's technically called the Southern Reach trilogy, not the Area X trilogy. But like, I don't know how Jeff Vandermeer actually feels about the film. But like, to me, that is the feeling that I have on Annihilation the movie. They made a really great movie with some similar themes that is basically not an adaptation of the story at all. Technically, they adapted iRobot. Yeah. To me, the adaptation of Annihilation specifically feels weird because a few reasons. First of all, the story has effectively nothing to do really with the story of Annihilation the book. Like, there are similar characters with similar motivations, but that's about it. The reason that the book is called Annihilation is not included in the movie at all. Like, there's not even really like a hint of the entire reason that the title of the book is Annihilation. I feel like the reason that it's so jarring to me with Annihilation in particular is that I feel like most adaptations that came out like post 2012-ish try a lot harder to actually stick to the plot of the thing they're adapting than adaptations before that did, generally. Like, I feel like before that it was more about capturing, or trying to at least capture the mood and some of the story. Whereas, like, you know, after how successful Lord of the Rings was, and a couple of other series that were, you know, that were adaptations of very famous things, they started to realize that, oh, like, you can make a lot of money if you do a very faithful adaptation. And so they started doing that. And so, like, going into Annihilation, the film, I kind of expected that sort of energy from it, and not just like here is a story that has similar themes about identity and whatnot, but doesn't actually do anything at all that the book does. Anyway, that all being said, I'm complaining, but that all being said, if you're into kind of vaguely eldritch, horror-y stuff, Annihilation is a fucking great movie. It's really good, in my opinion. Like, don't let me complaining about how it doesn't follow the story of a book that I like dissuade you if any of this sounds at all interesting to you. Because it is very good. I do kind of want to talk about Annihilation, the book, but I feel like saying too much about it is a spoiler. To give the barest basics I can, a group of 4 women go on an expedition into Area X, which is this cordoned off space that is run that is like full of weird energies and stuff and very mysterious that they send expeditions into periodically. Um, that and they send 4 women in. There's like a surveyor, a biologist, a psychologist who is the like kind of the leader of the group, and a oh, there was one other. Heck, I can't remember what the fourth one is, but like they're told that they're not allowed to use their own names. They only refer to each other by their job. Um, they're like effectively trying to strip them of their identities and any connection to the outside world as much as they can before they get sent into Area X to find out what happened to the last party that went there. And while they're there, they find a big tunnel in the ground that just leads really, really deep into the ground and is very spooky. And I'm not going to say too much about the tunnel, but I will say that the biologist, the character who is the narrator of the book, um, absolutely is not capable of thinking as the tunnel of the tunnel as a tunnel. She can only refer to and think of it as the tower. And that's all I'm gonna say, because anything else would be like getting into spoiler territory. But like, God, it's so good and so weird and so spooky. It's a good book. I'm having a good time rereading it. You don't like that at all? That sounds fucked. Yeah, isn't it great? Sorry, I know I like weird horror bullshit, and I know that you're not super into that kind of thing. I don't think this book would be for you, Cora. I think you would have probably a bad time reading it. Oh, actually, Cora, I wouldn't even if you are curious about it, I wouldn't even look into the plot of the book too much. It has some shit that would like genuinely hit your triggers. Now that I think about it, so I don't think that you would have, but now that I'm thinking about the specifics, definitely don't look into it. Now the movie doesn't have any of that stuff, and it's also a good movie. It's just not the same story, is all. It's got Natalie Portman in it though. Natalie Portman's very pretty, so you got that going for you. Had zero plans to look into any of this. Yeah, I figured, but I just wanted to be safe by saying that. Sorry. Sorry if talking about that was like bad. Um, but yeah, I've been rereading those books. I like them. I like the first one at least. I never really finished the second and never got started on the third. What else have I been up to? I guess the answer to what else have I been up to is kind of nothing. It's all Doctor Who and that one book and Guild Wars 2 all the way down. Have y'all been up to anything fun? It's too hot to do things. Yeah, I feel ya. It hasn't gotten super hot here yet, but it's hot enough that I'm constantly getting uncomfortable with the temperature. Thankfully, right now, like this part of summer in Washington, it's very cool out still at night. Like it's in the 60s and like high 50s at night generally. So like at least for the hours that I tend to be awake when the sun is down, I can open up the window and just let a bunch of cold air in. But yeah, it's very uncomfortably warm during the day. I should probably be planning on wrapping up. Doing the rest of this will take longer than I want to continue streaming for tonight. Guild Wars 2, My Hero Academia. Has the show on that come back, or are you watching the show for the first time, or are you reading the manga? The subway was reopened again following extensive repointing in 1923 by Mayor Jeff Jefferson the 11th. I assume that's supposed to say repainting. It closed again the following fall after the shocking revelation that Wilberforce Thrust had been using it to funnel train tracks full of stolen money out of town. Wow, that sounds shockingly similar to the things that are happening in the current story. The money was never recovered. Uh-oh. I haven't found the gnome yet, also. I thought it might be back there. There's a new season. Okay, cool. Well, I hope you've been enjoying that. You've been doing more writing on your funny story. I need to do more writing on all of my funny stories. I've got my narrative show for Cable 2, which I'm going to continue mentioning on stream, because if I keep mentioning it on stream, I'll feel more obligated to actually finish making at some point. Got to trick my brain in some way to get myself to work on this more. And I've got several other stories that I'm working on, plus world building for kind of the core of the setting that I've had in my head for like a decade. I love the setting that I have in my head. I need to get it on paper in a way that is coherent, and that is the worst. I really like writing and I like the idea of doing extensive world building, but like once I have to buckle down and try to do extensive world building, I'm just like, but I don't wanna. I want to write about the funny lesbians kissing each other. I don't want to write about the world that the funny lesbians kiss in. Um, as for My Hero Academia, I think that the show has at this point gotten very far past the part of the manga that I had read to. Like, I read to where the manga was uh, at the time that I was reading it, and I think where that was like the end of the All for One arc, or at least what I assume is the All for One arc. I don't know if there's more to it or not after the part that I got to. And like, I don't know. I know that a lot of people think that that whole anime is like a little bit cringe, and it is, but it's cringe in a way that I enjoy. It's also got some fucking heinous body horror shit in it. All Might versus All for One? Yeah, I think so. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil anything if someone who might want to actually watch it or read it is paying attention. I guess, like, when I say the body horror stuff is heinous, it's not actually, really. It's just kind of... It is beyond the limits of several people that I know. I don't personally think it's all that bad, but it is definitely beyond the limits of several people that I know. Yeah. But yeah, like, shonen action anime and manga tend not to really be my thing so much, because I am... I like a story... Ugh, that was very bright. I like a story to have an ending in mind, and I'm sure a lot of them do, but they just end up going on so long that, like, I don't... I eventually fall out of them. That being said, the arc that I read up to in My Hero Academia seemed to wrap up enough of the story that I was comfortable setting it down and not wondering what happened after that at all. Like, it seemed to kind of wrap up at the time that it was at all of the important plot threads, so it's got that going for it. I can't think of a lot of shonen stuff that I've gotten into that does that with any given arc. They don't tend to wrap things up because they want you to keep reading, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not so much my thing to read a thing that's never going to end. Characters have to grab me to make it worth a shonen thing? Yeah. I would agree with that. You know, I also keep meaning to try reading Bocce the Rock. because I really liked the show. The show of Machi the Rock was just one of my favorite anime experiences that I've had with something new in the last, like, decade. It's just a bunch of autistic lesbians who should kiss and they haven't kissed yet. I don't know that they're lesbians. I think some of them give off bi energy. Care for the pro tag. One of the major recurring characters grabbed me by the throat. That's cool. One good character can definitely keep me into a thing that I probably otherwise wouldn't stick with. Like that, I can relate to that. Oh, we're getting right up on the ending time, huh? Whoopsie. I want to finish this, but I don't think I have the stamina to sit here and finish it right now. Just want to finish up as much of it as I feel like I can. Just get these, like, sections of the ceiling maybe, and then I'll call it a night, I suppose. Okay. Okay. Well, that's pretty much what I said I would do. Well, this is starting to come together. Starting to look clean. Just gotta... If I face this way, it looks wonderful. The whole thing looks great if I face this direction. I guess I didn't finish the ceiling either. Fuck it. I'll finish the ceiling real quick. I kept getting distracted by other parts that needed attention before I could finish the sections of ceiling and stuff. There we go. That's the whole thing all the way down. Appears to be. That appears to be all one big piece. Okay. I'm gonna call it a night. We got this far, though. This is the first time that I'm genuinely just gonna leave in the middle of doing one of these, because I'm just tired. I'm probably not gonna sleep. I might take a little couch nap or something, but I only have so much stamina for streaming, I guess is what I mean. Anyway. Oh, do a big stretch real quick. I have to get a model with, like, hand tracking so that you can see me do a big stretch. Anyway, friends, enemies, past romantic partners and future nemesis. This has been the long haul. We've been playing Power Wash Simulator. My name is Shiv Rose. I hope you have just a lovely night and a lovely week. I should probably know what's up next on the Cable 2 schedule, but I don't. Let me find out real quick for you. I don't know if you care. But I do. Gosh darn it. Oh my goodness. I thought I just had it somewhere. Fine, I'll go to the dang website. Schedule. Okay, so it looks like tomorrow at noon cable time, Central Time. We got Trina's World. And then at 3 we'll have Happy Lab Accidents. Both of those are wonderful shows. I like them a lot. Happy Lab Accidents is great. I haven't caught as much of Trina's World as I would like. But they're both good. Anyway, I'm gonna call it a night. You could tell that I'm just kind of getting loopy, I think. I think you can sort of feel it in my bones enough to make my system blow. Welcome to the new age. Good night. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry about everything that I've ever done.
On the way back home.
Switch to a song with a little bit of energy on the outro screen, please. There we go. That'll do. Okay. Have a good night. Bye.
Feel the friction when it starts. The mechanism of the heart. What you see in all your dreams, replicated by machines. This is what you really are. The mechanism of the heart. With the turning of the hands.